On July 26, 2023, Niger's presidential guard, led by General Abdurrahman Tiani, seized power in a swift coup d'etat. This action toppled the democratically elected president Mohamed Bazoum, sending shockwaves through the nation and the international community. The Economic Community of West African States, or ECOWAS, condemned the coup and demanded the immediate release and reinstatement of President Bazoum. ECOWAS, a regional bloc of 15 West African countries, has taken a firm stance against the coup. The organization imposed sanctions on Niger, aiming to pressure the junta to relinquish control. These sanctions include border closures, suspension of financial transactions, and a travel ban on junta members. The goal is to isolate the military regime and compel them to restore constitutional order. However, the situation remains tense. The junta has shown defiance towards ECOWAS's demands and has warned against any foreign intervention. This standoff has raised concerns about a potential escalation of the crisis, with implications for the entire Sahel region. The international community, including the African Union and the United Nations, has echoed ECOWAS's call for a return to constitutional order. The focus remains on finding a peaceful resolution to the crisis and avoiding further instability in an already fragile region. While sanctions are intended to pressure the military junta, they have unintended consequences for the people of Niger. The landlocked nation, heavily reliant on external trade, is now grappling with food shortages and rising prices for essential commodities. Border closures have disrupted supply chains, making it difficult to transport goods into the country. The sanctions have also impacted Niger's energy supply, leading to power cuts and fuel shortages. This disruption further exacerbates the humanitarian crisis, affecting hospitals, schools, and other essential services. The most vulnerable segments of the population, including women and children, are bearing the brunt of these hardships. There is growing concern that the sanctions are disproportionately affecting ordinary citizens while failing to sway the military junta. Critics argue that ECOWAS should consider more targeted measures, such as asset freezes and travel bans on junta leaders, to minimize the humanitarian impact. Finding a balance between applying pressure on the coup leaders and alleviating the suffering of the Nigerian people is crucial. ECOWAS faces the challenge of revising its approach to effectively address the crisis without exacerbating the already dire humanitarian situation.
The coup in Niger has heightened regional tensions, particularly with neighboring Mali and Burkina Faso. Both countries have experienced recent coups themselves and have expressed solidarity with the Nigerian junta. They have warned against any military intervention by ECOWAS, framing it as interference in Niger's internal affairs. This stance has raised concerns about a potential domino effect of coups in the region.
The Sahel, already grappling with jihadist insurgencies and political instability, faces the risk of further turmoil. The international community is closely monitoring the situation, recognizing that the outcome in Niger could have far-reaching consequences. The United States and France, both with strategic interests in the Sahel, have condemned the coup and suspended military cooperation with Niger. However, they have also urged dialogue and a peaceful resolution to the crisis.
The international community's response highlights the delicate balance between upholding democratic principles and avoiding actions that could further destabilize the region. The situation in Niger underscores the need for a comprehensive approach to address the root causes of instability in the Sahel. This includes tackling poverty, promoting good governance, and strengthening regional cooperation to combat terrorism and transnational crime. Section 4, Intervention or Dialogue, the Legal Quagmire. The possibility of military intervention by ECOWAS has sparked debate about its legality under international law.
Proponents argue that the regional bloc has a responsibility to uphold democratic principles and protect constitutional order within its member states. They cite ECOWAS's Protocol on Democracy and Good Governance, which allows for intervention in cases of unconstitutional changes of government.
However, opponents of military action argue that it would require a United Nations Security Council resolution to be considered legitimate. They contend that intervention without such authorization would violate Niger's sovereignty and set a dangerous precedent for future interventions in the region.
The legal complexities surrounding intervention highlight the need for a cautious and measured approach. ECOWAS must carefully consider the potential consequences of military action, both for Niger and the wider region.
A peaceful resolution, achieved through dialogue and diplomacy, remains the most desirable outcome.
This includes engaging with all stakeholders, including the junta, political parties, civil society organizations, and regional actors, to find a lasting solution that respects the will of the Nigerian people.
Section 5. Global interests and the Sahel's strategic significance. The coup in Niger has drawn attention to the Sahel's strategic importance and the global interests at stake.
The region has become a hub for various international actors, including the United States, France, and the European Union, due to concerns about terrorism, migration, and organized crime. Niger, in particular, has been a key partner in the fight against jihadist groups operating in the Sahel. The country hosts foreign military bases and has received significant security assistance from Western countries.
The coup threatens to disrupt these partnerships and undermine counter-terrorism efforts in the region.
The instability in Niger also raises concerns about the potential for increased migration flows towards Europe. The Sahel is a major transit route for migrants seeking to reach Europe, and political turmoil and economic hardship could push more people to embark on dangerous journeys.
The international community must recognize that the situation in Niger has implications beyond its borders. A failure to address the crisis effectively could have ripple effects impacting regional security, migration patterns, and the fight against terrorism. Section 6. Charting a path to stability and democracy, the situation in Niger remains fluid, with no easy solutions in sight. However, dialogue, diplomacy, and a commitment to democratic principles offer the best hope for a peaceful resolution. ECOWAS, with the support of the international community, should prioritize negotiation with the junta to ensure a swift return to constitutional order. Sanctions, while intended to exert pressure, should be carefully calibrated to minimize their impact on the civilian population. Targeted measures against junta leaders, coupled with humanitarian assistance to those in need, should be prioritized. The international community must remain actively engaged in supporting a peaceful transition in Niger. This includes providing technical and financial assistance to strengthen democratic institutions, promote good governance, and address the root causes of instability. The coup in Niger is a stark reminder of the fragility of democracy, particularly in the Sahel region. It underscores the need for continued international commitment and cooperation to promote stability, development, and respect for human rights. The path forward requires a multifaceted approach that addresses the immediate crisis, while also tackling the underlying factors that contribute to instability and conflict. The future of Niger, and indeed the Sahel region, depends on it.